Kerbal Space Program was the first game that I ever played. It was the first game that I bought for PC, and it's the first game that I ever really played, even before Minecraft. And so, like so many other people, I was very excited to get my hands on the early access copy of KSP 2. I bought it on day one, a few hours after it released, because it released at 1 o'clock in the morning for us here in Ausland, so your boy had to wait till he woke up the next morning, but that's okay. So I bought it, downloaded it, and streamed my first few hours of the game. Check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/PJSquid. Check it, follow me on Twitch. Follow Twitch. And I actually had a really good time. I think this game looks absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning and beautiful in every way. I love the UI, I love the visuals, I love the parts, I love the clouds. Oh boy, the clouds. It looks incredible and it sounds even better. But after having streamed it for a few hours, I went and got some lunch, and then I came back to it and I decided to do a moon mission because I didn't really spend a whole lot of time in space, so I thought that'd be pretty fun. And oh boy, was I in for the adventure of a lifetime. Now I want to make it very clear at the start, this video is not trying to throw any hate on this game, and I don't have anything against it or against the developers. Honestly, the things that went wrong, I just had, it was so funny that I couldn't not, and I recorded it, and I couldn't just, I had to put it all in a video. So without further ado, this is the shenanigans that unfolded when I tried to do an Ike mission. But in order to tell this tale, we're gonna have to go back to the very beginning, where it all started. Mate. So I built a moon rocket, and I don't have any footage of that because I built it before I realized that things were going majorly wrong and I should record it. But when I went to launch it, the little satellite with the kerbal on it from the main menu is on the launch pad next to my rocket floating in midair, which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, I ended up not launching that rocket because I realized I'd left some stuff off, so I went back into the vehicle assembly building. And here we encountered glitch number 2, which is that the two little icons for the fairing are kind of just stuck on, and they don't really do anything. So the spanner and the little eyeball are just there, and it, like, moving the rocket doesn't change anything, and like clicking on them doesn't do anything. There's also like 2 scroll bars next to the staging, which is fun. It's probably fine, and why don't we just launch? So I press the launch button, and nothing happens. And I can't launch my rocket. But I hadn't actually put any kerbals in it, so I thought maybe that's the problem. So I made sure that I had selected some crew and tried to launch again, and it didn't work. So then I go back to the Space Center, and the icons are still there. And actually, just now editing this, I noticed the satellite is also still here. You see that? You see that there? Wow. So I go, okay, tracking station, that'll fix it. Nope, still there. The spanner eventually goes away though, so, you know, that's good. I just need to reload it from the start and we'll be all fine and all of the problems will go away. So I restart the game, load back into my save where I was from the main menu, thinking that everything's going to be fixed and it's going to be great and it's going to be totally fine. The second I load in, it just jumps straight to my rocket for some reason, which is now on the pad and also explodes. Just straight up the payload just falls out. And you can see on the left, the Kerbal Space Center menu is still there. Technically, the game thinks I'm in the Space Center, but also my rocket is here, so that's weird. Anyway, basically, it lets me edit the vehicle, so I go back into the vehicle assembly building, but eventually, finally time to launch. And the rocket elegantly lifts off the pad with the knowledge that finally all of my problems are behind me. Except I forgot to add fuel lines. And I also realized I didn't add any stabilization fins, so I add those, and I just gotta say, the procedural wings are beautiful. I love them. They're just great. I load up the ship, it loads fine on the launch pad, there's no mysterious floating satellites, and I think, okay, finally the glitches are over, they're behind me, and it's time to launch. I've said it before, I'll say it again, the sound design is incredible. So this launch actually goes fine. We start to head up, we do our gravity turn, we do just normal rocket stuff. The game looks great, there's no major problems, it's flying well, everything's working fine. Except the fuel lines aren't working. I don't know why, and I don't know maybe if this is just a glitch or something, I'm not sure. But those tanks on the side are supposed to be draining into the main stage so that we can drop them early, and then the main stage will still be full of fuel. And that is not happening. So we just kind of coast a long way up, and eventually I decide to detach those and lose just a little bit of fuel that's left in there. Those of you who've been paying attention may notice that so far I've only said I was planning to go to the Mun. And that's correct. At this point in the mission, that's what I was planning to do. It was only a little bit later when I'd actually got into orbit and saw how much Delta V we had that I thought, you know what? I'm pretty sure I have enough Delta V to go all the way to Juna, land on Ike, and return. Maybe. Things happened on the way to Ike, and some may say that I still haven't recovered. So we achieve orbit, and I jettison the fairing, which I was a little worried about, but actually there were no glitches. No, the wheels are all being weird. Ah, man. So I started planning my transfer to the Mun because at this point I still thought I was going to do a Mun mission. So I place a maneuver node, drag on the prograde, and this happens. What the heck is even that? The maneuver node is just completely broken and it isn't working at all. So I think around here is when I decided that I was going to try and go for Ike instead of just to the Mun. That's when I encountered the infamous time warp glitch, which I have seen a lot of other people talk about now. But basically, if you have a ship in low orbit or whatever, it's kind of time locked, so you can't warp up to the maximum speed when you're below a certain altitude. The problem with that is with you then switch back to the tracking station, it still doesn't work. So because I decided I'm going to Juna, I need to time warp ahead to the transfer window, which I now can't do because the game is locking me out of time warp. So I tried switching back to the main menu, that doesn't work either, but I did notice when I'm in the main menu and I press M, it takes me back to the normal map mode. Okay, that's a little strange, that's not supposed to happen. I wonder what happens if I switch back to flight mode. And there you go, it takes me back to the mission. Let's see if I can break that even more. So I tried again, and then this time instead of staying in the main menu, I switched to the training center because I think surely if anything is going to not switch me back out to my mission, it's going to be that. So I opened up the training center, press M, and I'm back to the map mode, while also still being in the training center. You can hear the music in the background. So there's only one thing left to try, and that is switching back to flight mode. And this could quite possibly be the best part of this whole saga. Yep, we're back in flight mode, but this time the training center menu is still in the background. It's so... and the music is playing as well. The game thinks I'm simultaneously in the training center and also flying the ship. It just, you can't make this stuff up. Obviously, a game relog was in order. I close everything down, load everything back up, take a second to look at the beautiful scenery. I also checked to see if the maneuver nodes are still broken. They're still broken. So I decided to launch a plane to see if that would do anything, and that worked totally fine. And in fact, when the plane was on the runway, I had my normal time warp controls that you would expect from any vehicle on the ground. While I was here, went for a little fly, went for a little crash, tried to revert to the VAB, couldn't. So I reverted back to the start of the flight instead, and then another weird thing happened. Reverts back to the plane on the runway, except if you have a look at my controls, the game thinks I'm still controlling the ship in orbit. My time warp is locked, I'm 94 kilometers above the surface, I've got my standard orbital info, and all of the staging info is referring to the ship in orbit, not the plane that I'm currently looking at. That's fine, it's all good, no worries. So I go to the tracking station, and that confirms that I am indeed in control of the ship in orbit, not the plane on the ground. So then I switch back control of the plane, and that allows me to take proper control of it again. All the staging and instruments are the way they should be. So I recover the vessel and then head into the VAB just to build a really simple little probe that I can leave on the launch pad. I'm hoping that switching to this will allow me to use the full range of time warp when I need it, and then I can switch back to the ship when I'm ready to do my burn. If anyone was around back in like 2016 Kerbal Space Program, this is the way you used to have to do it. So that helps me get my Juna transfer window like I'm supposed to, and then I go to try my maneuver nodes, and miraculously the maneuvers are working now, which is great. Game devs 1, glitches like 75. So I'm going to fast forward a bunch of all of this because it's just me sorting out interplanetary transfers, and this video is more about the problems that I had rather than the bits that went well. But having said that, even this didn't work that great. You can't skip to a future orbit when planning your maneuver nodes, and I don't know if this is just something they haven't implemented yet, or if they just removed it entirely, which I don't know why, because it makes everything so much harder. We also don't have that maneuver fine-tuning window anymore, so you have to move the camera and re-click on the maneuver node every time you want to make a change, and you also don't have the little sensitivity slider so that you can really fine-tune your mover. It's just, you basically only get about half the information and tools that you get in KSP 1. So it works, it's just a lot more difficult than it is in the first game. And of course, there's also the other bug where you just can't see your trajectory in other celestial bodies' sphere of influence, which again, it just makes all of these maneuvers a whole lot more guesswork than they used to be. And I think for veteran players or people who've been playing for a while, it's kind of a fun challenge, because it's like KSP but on ultra hard mode, because you're missing all of the information and features that you used to. So eventually, with a lot of messing around and using maneuver nodes and also not using maneuver nodes and just winging a bunch of the maneuvers, I finally get what I think is a fine-tuned encounter with Juna, maybe, and we encounter Juna, and we go to Ike and all that stuff, which again, I'm going to speed through because, like, it worked fine, if not being a lot more difficult than it should be. But there we have it. We've arrived at Ike, we've circularized, we've got ourselves into a nice circular equatorial orbit ready for our landing. Would this mean that this would be the end of my glitchy troubles? Nope! In fact, the Kraken was just getting warmed up. Alright, let's time warp around to the sunny side, which means I can switch back to the other craft on the thing, which then is floating in the air for a bit and then it comes back down, but that works okay. Alrighty, we'll just switch back. Oh, okay, we're spinning. Yeah, that's good. Why are we spinning? Hold on, what are the things? Why are there things? It shouldn't be things. Why? There are things on that. Is that engine not attached to the fuel? It's okay, I have taken control of the situation. So in order to go down to the surface, we need to transfer our crew into the lander, nice and easy. Now we just gently undock, just gently separate the ships, don't anger the Kraken. What? What did we learn? What did we learn? What do you mean, what did I learn? I don't know. No, you know what, I did learn something. I learned that I can't trust you, that's what I learned. Ooh, that's bouncy. Okay, what is going on? Am I in control of the debris? Maybe? No? I think I'm... Wait a minute, game. Where's my orbit? Fairly sure there's supposed to be a line there to tell me where I'm going. That's... You need that. Nothing that a quick save can't fix. It's still not there. Don't worry, I've trained for this. I don't need any map screen. I can use the orbital information on my screen. We're about to crash. My hypothesis, I think the spinning has affected my orbital velocity. Like all good intrepid space explorers, I chose to completely ignore my fate and take some pretty screenshots and pretend like nothing was going to happen. Something did indeed happen. If you could just not do that this time, that'd be great. If I could just stay in orbit, just leave me in the orbit that I was in earlier, that would be... And it's worse. It's worse. It's a lot worse. All right, well, if we're gonna crash anyway, let's just at least see if we can undock this lander. So we jump. Yep, all right, that's fine. That's all good. Yeah, do I though? Do I really? All right, man, you know, third time lucky. That's what they always say. It always works the third time. You know what? That was my fault, game. That was my bad. I see what I did wrong there. Let's try an EVA. How about we do that? How about we do EVA? Because, yeah, let's do an EVA. Let's see if we can... Okay, now that really was my fault. I mean, it's you know, EVA, stupid thing to do. Very, very silly. Hang in there, mate. Just don't think about the fact that your friends are dead. Those docking ports are very, very resistant to undocking. Even now, they're still hanging on. The rover is intact, so maybe I can drive myself to safety. See, look, even the antenna and the solar panels work. See, this is a fully intact... See, don't let anyone tell you that this ship's broken. That is a fully working, intact rover that's in orbit and about to crash. That's it. Just let all the existential dread wash away. One more trip back to my handy time warp probe reveals that not only do I not have an orbital line now, I also am kind of pinned to the surface. it just keeps going. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it? So now I kind of just I'm not orbiting. I'm just sitting there, and then when I swap back, my orbital velocity is basically 0, and I'm essentially just falling straight down. I think I might just land on the surface, eh? So I kind of have to land, and because I can't undock the lander, my only choice, transfer some kerbals into it, switch control to the lander probe, and attempt to land with the 2 ships still stuck together. Kerbal Space Center, we are go for landing. Yep, and then I did it again because I fell over. Yeah, look, the landing was fine. Yeah. I tried separating the ships again, and it didn't work. Also, this happened. Oh yeah, pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. Valentina exploded at one point. Somehow, despite all of the glitches and the missing features and the bugs and the training center and the everything that happened, I managed to just about land, plant a flag on the surface with a lander that is made out of 2 ships stuck together. Oh bro, I don't think this game's very polished yet, eh? The next day, I did a live stream and decided to see if I could get these kerbals home. I knew it was pretty unlikely given that the 2 ships were still fused together, but I thought I'd give it a try, and well, this is about how well that turned out. Oh, what? What is happening? What is happening with my orbit? I didn't touch anything. What? Okay, so we were in orbit like a second ago. Like just a second ago, we were in orbit. We're now alternately in orbit and not in orbit, and also in the training center at the same time. Kerbal Space Program 2, you're a beautiful broken masterpiece. And the music starts up again. Ah! Yes! Yes! So with that, our journey comes to a close. I ended up just re-landing the ship on the surface again at the end of the stream, and it's still there to this day. Thank you everyone so much for sitting through this time that we've had together. I hope you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends. By no means am I trying to slander this game or anything like that. I think it's great. I think it's going to be great, but right now it does have quite a few issues that can be quite fun and entertaining, and I had the best time doing this mission. I know the video's been pointing out all the problems, but like, it was so funny. I never knew what was going to happen next, and it was kind of fun. So I don't know. Check out my Twitch, and how do I'm going to end? I don't know how to end.